you will attract positive things if you think in that way. And if you think negatively, you're only going to attract negative things because that's the vibration you're sitting on.
Welcome to another electrifying episode of the Commentary Booth live via satellite, where we peel back the curtain on your favorite wrestlers and their cinematic inspirations. I'm your host, Jamie Upps, and today we're turning up the volume with a thrilling guest who is just now beginning to spread her wings as she ventures out of South Australia, exploring wrestling all around the country. Joining us live via satellite is Australia's biggest Nothing But Thieves fan, Leah Lovegrove.
Thank you. Hi. That's a big statement.
Well, the amount of shows and stuff you went to in the last year, I think it's pretty clear.
Yeah. Maybe.
How's everything down in South Australia? You just got back from Queensland as well.
Yeah. Flew back yesterday. It's quite humid up there and it's still quite cold down here. So it was a bit of a shock going up there and being like, oh, it's so warm in the middle of the night. So yeah, no need for a jumper up there, but still wearing jumpers down here in the night times.
So thanks for joining me on the show today to chat about your favorite movies, TV shows, and their influence on your wrestling career. Before we deep dive into that, obviously we know you're a big music fan, but how big a part of your life are movies and TV shows?
They have played like a pretty big role, but not as big as music. Like they've always been there, especially when I was like a lot younger. I would say I was more into movies, TV shows, and as I've grown older and been able to go to more gigs, like moving from Port Lincoln, which is like a small town, to Adelaide, where gigs are more accessible to me, I've been more into music, but like in Port Lincoln, there really is not much there. So I was really into TV shows and movies and anime, especially growing up. So yeah.
Okay. So the big question is, what did you choose as the movie or TV show that has had the biggest influence on you in your wrestling career?
I chose the anime Bleach. It is, if not one of my like favorite animes of all time, like my favorite TV show of all time. I haven't actually finished the new season that's come out yet because I want to rewatch the whole like 366 episodes before I get to that. But that takes a lot of time. But yeah, Bleach has just it's played a huge role in my life and made a big impact in how I consume like just media in general.
Okay. Yeah, I was going to ask about that. With there being almost 400 episodes now, had you seen them all, and do you have like a favorite episode, if it's possible to narrow it down?
Um, I would say I have like a favorite arc in the anime, and it's where Ichigo, like the main character, is slowly becoming sure of himself, and it's like right at the start of the anime, like about episode like 56-ish, where he faces his big first boss sort of guy in this place called the Soul Society. And yeah, he's always filled with like self-doubt, but in that moment he's like got this resolve and like determination, and he just like trumps everything. Like he just overcomes so many obstacles in that moment, and that's really inspiring to me, like with someone who has had a lot of self-doubt, just to like believe in yourself and push yourself through. And that's why I like can relate to the anime so much. It's just like it's a mindset sort of thing. Yeah.
Yep. So when and how were you first introduced to this particular show?
um I really don't remember. I think my friends, like we all just shared anime, particularly at the start of high school, maybe like year 8. And one of my closest friends was like, "Oh, have you watched Bleach?" And like the guy that I was interested in the time was really into it, and he was like, "I've read all the manga. Like this is the sickest anime." And I was like, "Okay." And they had like a hard drive, and they gave me like the first 200 episodes or something, and I like just binged it. And I fell in love with it too. Like it was just so, oh gosh, I can't explain it. Like just there's bits of adventure and comedy and stuff. And as a teenager, I was like, yeah, this is like the best. It's funny. It's like lighthearted but serious. Like, yeah, I just really enjoyed it. I could relate to it, and especially being well, I was only 13 at the time, so it was like
Mhm.
perfect timing for me to get into it.
Yep. It sounds like it's similar to, for me, Dragon Ball Z. It's like that
Yes.
similar vein where it's like, yeah, it's a serious story with fighting and crazy action, but then it's also like lighthearted and silly at times as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. And like I was into Dragon Ball growing up as well. That would probably be like most people, the first ever anime that people ever watch. It's definitely Dragon Ball, but like, I watched that growing up on, I think it was Cheese TV.
Hmm.
Anyone old
Yep.
enough watch Cheese TV? Yeah, I watched that before I'd go to school, take the school bus. So that was like the stepping stone into like getting into Bleach. I was like, oh yeah, like I like anime. I've seen Dragon Ball, so that Bleach was like the next big thing for me. And I wasn't hardcore into Dragon Ball Z. Like I watched it, but that was like my brother's thing, my big brother's thing. So
Yep.
like Bleach was sort of like my own. I got to get into it myself. Yeah.
So, what is it about Bleach that keeps you captivated even today? I imagine you've sort of picked up on different elements of the story throughout the years as well.
Yeah. I really like there's so much to it. Particularly the music in it is really like really edgy. Not edgy, but there's like it's just the soundtrack's incredible. It's got real like 90s or early 2000s sort of like vibes to it with this like soulful rock music. Oh gosh, I really can't explain it. But it really throws you into that time with that sort of music while telling stories about like it's a very religious sort of thing as well, like Shintoism, all about like death and the afterlife and stuff like that. And I'm fascinated by that sort of stuff as well. So like having all this sort of like modern day influences and how the characters even dress and like all street sort of wear, they dress like all hippie and streetwear, yet they talk about or bring up these topics about religion. I find that's just so cool that they can blend it all together and come up with this anime that is also lighthearted. And yeah, I don't know. It's just it really hooked me, and I don't think many anime are like that out there. A lot of it's quite sexual or quite action paced. There's not like this big blend of genres or like different influences. And I think Bleach does it well. So
Okay.
I
Yeah,
don't
no,
know
I
if that
get.
answers the question.
No, it does. And I guess as someone that like is a big fan of like the sort of rock metal side of music, to have that in the soundtrack as well is like an instant hook for you.
Yeah, yeah. Like there's like certain parts in the anime where the main character Ichigo is like getting all fired up and there's this like soulful singing. I'm not going to imitate it because it's going to be horrible. But yeah, and then this like mad guitar solo where they just like shred and he's like powering up and being like, ah, and it's like so invigorating. And I'm just like, hell yeah. Like it makes me get pumped and be like, yeah, go Ichigo, beat that boss. Like, I don't know. Like it's yeah, it's just really inspiring and to have like that rock music behind it too. It's really cool. Or I think it's cool.
Do your like pre-show soundtracks that you sort of listen to before a show, does it include some like Bleach music?
Yeah, I would say so. I oftentimes I would actually listen through all of the intro songs, like on YouTube. Like they'll have like a playlist of Bleach intro one, Bleach intro two, and it just gets me like, yeah, let's go, like real pumped up because like especially like I know what happens in the anime.
Mhm.
It like whether it's like a sad arc in the anime, I can like always put on a specific intro and be like, yeah, that's the mood I'm feeling today. I'm going to listen to that song. So maybe not so much before a show, but like in everyday life, if I'm like, I'm feeling this vibe, I'll put on that specific Bleach song.
Okay. And like we mentioned, there are almost 400 episodes now. What advice or recommendations do you have for somebody that might want to get into the series but is feeling a bit overwhelmed by that number of episodes? Because like I personally normally for these episodes I will go and rewatch a movie or some episodes of the show. And I looked at this and went, "Oh wow, that's I can't do that."
Yeah, it's a lot. um, I'm pretty sure they've got movies as well. But if you just listen to the movies, I guess it's probably going to be overwhelming because they sort of just throw you straight into the universe of Bleach, and you're just like, what the hell's going on? So, um, they have little like storyline episodes or like the arc
Like
episodes
recap
recap.
type things.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure like Dragon Ball probably does it, and Naruto would do it too. So like, if you always wanted just to catch up and like get a real brief version of what happened in an arc, you could watch that episode. Other than that, I would say, in my opinion, my favorite of all of Bleach is just the first like two arcs. So that's like up to that episode 56 or whatever that I said. Because when it past that, it starts to get really overwhelming with how
Mhm.
many more characters they introduce. They're like, it gets a bit full on. But if you can get through the first like two arcs, it's like, yeah, that's you get quite of a broad view of what Bleach is, and you can probably stop there, but yeah, from that
Okay.
point you can tell if you're into it or not, whether you can move forward. So yeah, and I like a few animes have about that many episodes. So like Soul Eater has 52. So yeah, if you can finish 50-ish episodes, I'd say that would be enough.
Okay, that's much less daunting. That makes it seem a lot
Yeah,
more accessible if you can watch that, and then I guess at that point you'll know if you're enjoying it or not, whether you want to continue
yeah,
for the next 350 episodes.
yeah. And there's like, I think there's two filler arcs, and you can pretty much just skip those. Um, that some of it is canon to the story, but it's not that relevant. So if you're just like, oh, that's a filler, you can just, yeah.
Okay.
But they tend to be the funniest episodes, so it's
Yeah,
a
because
bit
they can
hard.
just go they can go off the wall because they don't have
Yeah,
to
yeah.
lead into the next thing. So then how have you gone about incorporating this show into the Leah Lovegrove character and taking it into the wrestling world?
Well, the first thing was my first entrance video. There was lots of anime in it. And the very first frame of it was Ichigo, like the main character, doing this with his sword. Like I've always loved anime, and Ichigo, like, oh, he was like my anime crush growing up. So I was like, he has to be the first thing that people see when when you see Leah Lovegrove. So there's that. And then the color scheme of my gear and my entrance was like black, red, white, orange. And that's very like Wrestle Rampage's color scheme is black, red, and white. But the bit of orange was like Ichigo's hair color. Because I was like,
Okay.
oh yeah, like
Just
Bleach
that
is
little
very
bit
much,
of your own thing
yeah,
tossed in there.
yeah. Because like Bleach is very much the same color scheme. Um, but the orange is just the main character's hair color. And I was like, that's just a little inspiration, or like a call out to that anime. So yeah, and I love all things Japanese. So I had like print saying Death God, or I think it said Shinigami. I'm pretty sure that's what Death God is. So I had that on my little name with the like little Japanese characters. That's what that was on there, which is just another callback to Bleach because they're all about death gods, so and afterlife and all that sort of stuff.
Very cool. Did you have sort of any fans at the show pick up on those things and come and see you at the merch table afterwards?
Yeah, I did actually, and it's funny because my two best friends from high school that got me into Bleach was at my debut. So when they saw that, they were screaming. I've actually got like the video that my best friend took of me like entering, and he's just yelling at the top of his lungs, being like, "Oh my god!" Like I could tell he picked up like Bleach instantly. So yeah,
That's awesome.
it was really nice.
Wrestling fans, are you ready for the ultimate showdown? Pro Wrestling League and Renegades of Wrestling are teaming up to bring you the Australian Wrestling Super Show. It's all happening Friday, February 14th at the iconic Eaton's Hill Hotel in Brisbane. Kick off your AEW Grand Slam weekend with a night of epic action. Expect the unexpected, because with an open door policy, anything can happen. Who will show up? Who will throw down? Gold tickets are already sold out. Silver seats, they're over 50% gone. You don't want to miss this. Grab your tickets now at linktree/Pro Wrestling League and start your weekend with a bang. So then, with the ensemble of characters, which Bleach character would you say you most closely represent? Sounds like Ichigo's like the big touchstone for you.
I would say Ichigo like inspires me the most, but when I think of who I am actually the most like, it wouldn't be him. Like I'd love to be Ichigo, but I think I'm Rukia, which is like one of the main female characters, and she's very tsundere. I think that's how you pronounce it. Like it's very she's real smart and stuff, but she can be really like tempered, like real snappy,
Mhm.
like it's just typical anime trope where the like lead female character is like real nice and loving and all this stuff, but she's got short temper. Um, but you could agitate her a lot, and I'm like, yeah, that seems like me, especially in the ring. Like my like if you tick me off right towards like I'm getting beaten down, I'll just snap and start fighting back. And I'm like, oh, I can relate to that. That's definitely a me thing. Whereas Ichigo gets in his head a little bit too much sometimes, and he can like really get in a rut about it. And I don't doubt myself as much as Ichigo does throughout the anime. I'm more like Rukia. Yeah.
Is that in the ring and out of the ring, or are you more like Ichigo out of the ring, doubting yourself a little bit?
Yeah, I would say so. I'd say I'm more like that out of the ring. Behind closed doors, there's a lot of that doubt can seep in, but I just push through and then I end up like Rukia. So
I think that's a lot of wrestlers, though. I think like if you're not questioning, or did I do good in that, you're probably never going to improve. So you kind of do need to go back, rewatch stuff, and be quite critical of yourself.
mm, yeah. That's me every time I watch back my matches. I'm like, oh, a little bit cringy. But that's good. Like at least I care, and for as long as I like don't let it get to my head and drive me into the ground, it's fine. Like yeah, just always looking to improve, which and not let it bring me down as well. Like I'm trying my best. So yeah, that's all I can do really.
Yep. So then another fun thing we like to do on this show is, who else from Australian wrestling would you want as your soul reaping team, and what powers would they each have?
Oh, I mean, obviously Axe Massacre. um, to me, Axe is honestly a slept on wrestler. Like, seriously, I'm surprised that she's not getting booked everywhere. And
Yep.
she, given that she's Axe Massacre, she wouldn't really have a sword. She'd have an axe, and she'd be like a killing machine. Like, she fits perfectly. Like, not even in ring, but in the anime. Like, I feel like Bleach, although she's like a hair metal sort of style, she would fit into Bleach. Like her whole character, the whole gimmick would be perfect for that anime. Like I could see it just working. If they just shoved an axe massacre into the anime, yeah, it would go off.
And
um,
is that all?
I don't know. I would love to have a Charlie Evans too. I don't know exactly what sort of character she is in Bleach, but she's a boss. Like she doesn't take shit.
Yep.
Especially her turning on Jess Troy, I was screaming. Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. But yeah, like good on her for. I'm not saying I support her turning on Jess Troy,
Yeah,
but
careful.
good
Jess will
on
come
her
after
for
you next.
yeah, please no, Jess. I love her too, but like all to Charlie for being like, you know, for me, maybe not siding with North Shore, not that, but you know, looking after herself. Like, good on you. Like, I can agree with that.
Yep.
Just not the backstabbing sort of stuff.
I think like a little three-person trio team of yourself, Axe Massacre, and Charlie Evans would be quite formidable throughout the country.
I could be the little cute one and let the boss girls do the boss girl things, and I'll be like, yeah, supporting in the background.
Come in, you get the pin at the end, and hey, we won. See ya.
Yeah.
So, how has your character and presentation evolved since the debut? Like, you've only been around for what's a year, just over a year now.
Yeah, yeah. I've a year and a half probably. I would say that it's gone from going inspired from like Bleach and stuff into more of the music scene. So obviously all the like nothing but thieves sorts of like me being a fangirl. That's definitely the where it's going. And like everyone tends to know me for that. So I'm like, why not just lean into it a bit more? Like, particularly like overseas, I've made friends and they're probably seeing me do my wrestling thing and be like, what the hell is this? So for them to relate to it, I'm like, okay, well, if I make it about music, which they know me for, maybe they'll relate more to what I'm doing. So yeah, it's just morphing more into the music side rather than the EVs and the anime side.
Okay. Yeah, and there's been a bit of a like friendly banter rivalry between yourself and Axe Massacre recently. How's that all
Yeah,
playing out?
well, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I don't think she takes me seriously. I am a big
Mhm.
fan, obviously. I'm always going to be a big fan of her. She taught me how to wrestle. Like she is my senior at Wrestle Rampage. So like I've always had a lot of respect for her. But I don't know if she takes me seriously enough. um, just because I think she's really cool and yeah, I'm always going to think she's cool, but she probably sees me and goes, oh, she's just annoying. So,
Careful, she might end up with her own little Charlie Evans chasing her in a minute.
yeah, oh, gosh. Yeah. We've faced off before. I think we've faced off twice. And the first time I won, but that was before my character's evolved into what it is. And she's done a lot of evolving since as well. And the second time we faced off was with Mr. Cliff, and yeah, Mr. Cliff doing Mr. Cliff things. He got the win. He's not getting the win at Riot City though. I'll tell you that much.
So, as we close out the episode, what has been the best piece of advice you've been given in terms of incorporating your various inspirations into the wrestling world?
I would just say that like believe in yourself and like everything is just a mindset. Like if you and this comes from Bleach, this comes from like a lot of Nothing But Thieves lyrics. It's more like if you believe that you're going to fail, the only place you're going to go is fail. But if you believe you can achieve something, like failure is just a stepping stone. Like um, the Nothing But Thieves lyric is like heaven's a mindset away. And it is really like it's sort of stating that like whether heaven is real or not, like if you believe it, you can go out and achieve it. Like you just got to keep pushing yourself and like don't give up on yourself. Because the like if you don't believe in yourself, then you're just not going to get there. Like I really can't explain it anymore. Like all this positive sort of affirmation stuff is it really works. And if you just think negatively, it's just not going to work. So yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but
No, no, it does
positive
because like
affirmations work.
especially like in the world of wrestling, like if you come out and you're giving off that air of I know I'm losing this match, the audience will pick up on that and then they're going to be like, well, I'm not going to support this person because they think they're going to lose. So why should I think they're going to win?
Yeah, yeah. You should always believe in yourself, whether you're losing, whether you're winning. Like I, I can't explain it. I read a lot of self help books and all that sort of stuff, and it's all the same stuff. It all just says believe in yourself and positive. You will attract positive things if you think in that way, and if you think negatively, you're only going to attract negative things because that's the vibration you're sitting on. So yeah,
Yep. And it's also like pretty rare for wrestlers to come in and be immediately awesome at something. Like you might
yeah.
try something and it doesn't work, but that's the joy of wrestling. It's live in the moment. It didn't work that time, so next time we'll do something different.
Yeah, exactly. There's always a chance to be like, well, no, not for me, or like, let's try it again. We can improve it. Like, it's sort of like physical jazz, is how I put it. Because you just, oh, what is the word? I can't even think right now.
You're improvising like as you go. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Improvising on the spot, but physically.
Yep.
So it doesn't, and every note doesn't necessarily have to be a right note, doesn't have to be in key, like, but it's still in key in another aspect. Nothing's ever wrong.
And like you said, like your character has evolved over the time too. So like it's not like, oh, this is Leah Lovegrove and that's it. That's what she is. That's all we're doing. Like you can change and it's like life. You can grow and become a totally different person in 5 years as you were 5 years ago.
Yeah, that's 100% right.
So then as we look ahead, what else is in store for you in wrestling? Like you've been going up to Queensland, spreading out a bit more. What else is on the horizon?
Well, I'm looking to see if I can wrestle interstate a bit more. So Queensland's like an obvious, like, I want to get up there as like often as I can. I'm probably looking at doing, if EPW do a winter camp, I'll be doing one of those again because I love the EPW people and the trainers like Slater and Stormy. Like they're lovely and they're full of knowledge, and getting around to each different schools and learning from different people. So like PWA is a big one on my list. I was supposed to do it this year, but I got really sick, so so that scrap that. So I'm gonna try it next year. But yeah, lot of more gigs, a lot of more training at different schools, and hopefully getting shows at different schools. Maybe an international venture if I can save up the money. But yeah, that's on the list for me. So
Very nice. And yeah, I guess that's the one benefit of being in like South Australia too. You're in the middle of all of the great wrestling on the East Coast, all of the great wrestling on the West Coast. It's not a
yeah,
giant trek for you guys like it is for someone in
yeah,
Sydney, Perth.
I can't imagine like having to go from Sydney to Perth like that, or even Brisbane to Perth. That is such a long distance. Like even me going from Adelaide to Brisbane and it's a 3 hour flight. Like that's nothing in comparison to going to Perth. Yeah, props to the people who do it.
And yeah, hopefully we'll catch you in February. Some big stuff happening in Queensland. So hopefully we'll catch you up there
Mm,
live and in person.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna be there, so
Okay. Well,
I'll
I'll be there too.
see.
So I'll,
I'll,
I'll at least see
yeah,
you.
yeah, you'll at least see me there. Um, whether I'm wrestling or not, we'll see. But hopefully,
So, where is the best place for people to support you and track your wrestling journey moving forward?
the best place would be on my Instagram, which is just / Leah Lovegrove, I'm pretty sure. And I'm hoping to start up maybe some YouTube vlogs because I'm enjoying filming a lot of things and creating content right now. So there'll be a lot more content flowing. So yeah, mainly my Instagram or anything on Wrestle Rampage, like the live streams that we do for our shows. If I'm on the shows,
Mhm.
yeah, that's where I'll be. So yeah,
Brilliant. Alrighty. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat with me, and thank you everyone for listening to the commentary booth live via satellite. If you enjoyed the show, please remember to rate, review, and subscribe on podcast services and on YouTube. You can follow me on social media at JamYaps Media and at Pario Magazine. And thanks again, Leah, and good luck with everything. And we'll see you in February.
thank you so much, Debbie.